And we're live. Alrighty. We are live. Let me make sure the audio is good. Just because I'm a little iffy on that. Yes, play the stream. Okay, it's good. It's good. It's good. Alright. So I'm streaming a little bit early today. I also just broke my chat on my phone. Hi, Junior. Hi, nobody. How you guys doing? Let me put out a post that I'm streaming, and then we'll get started. We're gonna need all the time we have, because there are a lot of theories. A lot of theories. Boop. Boop. Okay. Alright. Hi, Ard. So, today's the day we get started on the theories tier list. The big one. Let me know if the audio is fine, because, like, on here it's, I don't know, OBS is something. I guess we'll just get started, because, yeah, we are going to need some time to get through this thing. So, welcome, guys. Yeah, I'll show you guys the tier list, and then we'll get crack-a-lackin'. Ah, well, I appreciate you joining, Junior. Appreciate you for joining. Audio is okay? Good, good, good. I have my phone plugged in. I guess it's plugged into my computer so it doesn't die, but it's kind of in an awkward place. Okay. Let me switch over. So, here is the tier list for today. Theories. I'm going to pause this. Theories. Only 5 tiers. We might need more. I kind of just turned, you know, S into confirmed, D into debunked. Okay, well now it feels weird without. Okay, we'll get this going. So, confirmed A, B tier, which is like 50-50 on how likely a theory is. C tier. Sorry. C tier and debunked. A few things. So we're going to be ranking the theories on a few criteria. First is obviously how likely they are, right? Obviously a theory like, I don't know, like BV83, that's confirmed, whereas BV87 is debunked. So we're going to rank them how likely they are, how much evidence they are, which kind of ties into that one. Like, for example, I don't know what it is with the background music. It feels so loud today. A theory like Andrew Pizza has 0 evidence. Andrew Pizza has 0 evidence, whereas a theory like Afton MM has a ton of evidence. So that's going to be factored into the ranking as well. And also, I'm going to be honest, just personal preference. Like, oh, my phone fell. Like, I'm going to be honest, I don't like another David. I don't like that theory. Whereas a theory like, I don't know, Cassidy Girl, I like that theory. So we're going to be factoring a bunch of stuff like that. And obviously there's a lot of theories. We're not finishing this today. I can see this taking 3 streams minimum, just being honest. So yeah, without further ado, let's just get into this thing. And I'll find music that I actually like. If you guys have any other criteria that you think should be factored in, let me know. Because this is the big tier list. This is what it's all been building towards. This one's fine, I guess. never mind. Okay, Into the Pits OST is like... No, no, no. Oh my god, this is the worst soundtrack I've ever heard. Come on. Give me good music. This works, sure. Okay. That's gonna have to do. Alright, enough beating around the bush. Let's get into this. 14 theory. I honestly, I know most of these theories. A few of them we will have to look up. 14 theory. This is the theory that on the UCN roster, if we pull it up, you can see in the 14th spot, so, you know, first 10, then 14th. Golden Freddy is 14th. In all of the Toy Chica, the high school years cutscenes, one of the lockers has a slanted 14 pointing towards Toy Chica, who is William Afton, and if you look at the roster, Golden Freddy is slanted looking at William Afton. It's a stretch, and it plays into a theory that I don't believe, which we'll get into. Yeah, 14 theory's mid. It's not debunked, but I agree with nobody. Definitely C tier. 1 after 2, that's confirmed. Rename A to close to confirmed. Yeah, we can add like total, like close to confirmed. I hate how the D is its own thing. And then we'll put C as like very unlikely. Yeah, that's good. So then I'll just do this. D4 debunked. Okay, this is like really quiet. Oh my god, it's fine. Yeah, 1 after 2 is confirmed. Obviously. I'm trying to... Phone Guy is alive. That's confirmed. 1 before 2 is debunked, again, because Phone Guy is alive in FNAF 2. Very much dead in 1. 4 after 1. I would say it is confirmed because of the Phone Guy audio Easter egg. Mike drawing the nightmares in the logbook. I wish there was one that said like 4 during 1. I don't know. I'll put it close to confirmed. Yeah, I'll put it A. Yeah. Also, this. Oh my god, we're never gonna be able to find good background music for this. Hobo Dance is too loud. God, this is shows the worst game soundtrack for background music. Okay, that's gonna have to do. Yeah, sister location, is that sister location after 1 has to be like later on, right? Guess not. Okay. Yeah. 4 is a weird one. Yeah, where is sister location after 1? I don't know where that is. Unless I'm just blind. They have Into the Pit. No, they just have the specific year. Oh well. Yeah, 4 is a weird one because it's across the whole timeline. God, this is... We're never going to be able to win with this. 4 after sister location? No, I don't think so. I don't think 4 is after sister location. Just because I feel like 4... No. It's a tough one. What do we think about 4 after sister location? It's a weird one, because, like, I do think 4 is during or after FNAF 1, I think Sister Location is obviously after FNAF 1. But in regards to FNAF 4, I don't know. We'll keep it in C. Abby Beth is cooked? Yeah. So Abby Beth? Meh. No. Okay. We'll just keep it in C, I guess. Abby Beth. This is the theory that Abby from the movies is a parallel to Elizabeth from the games. Also, make sure I didn't mess up anything on here while I did that. Yeah. I do think... It's weird. I think the Aftons and Schmidts are meant to not mirror each other, but they're two sides of the same coin, right? Mike Schmidt in the movie is meant to be Michael, like, the good side of Michael, whereas Michael Afton, spoilers if you haven't seen the movie, Michael Afton is the side of Mike that's evil, and he does what William says. Abby Beth, I kind of see in the same way as, like, Vanessa has Elizabeth's, and sort of Michael Afton too, bond with William, for lack of a better word, whereas Abby has her, like, innocence, her relationship with her older brother. So I honestly, I know this might be a hot take, adult theory. Yeah, I mean, that is a good point, Art. That is a good point. Baby in the movie does have green eyes. Spoiler again. Which could suggest that Elizabeth does exist in the movies. I'm hesitant to believe that, though. Just out of... I feel like that would be a stupid twist if Vanessa's like, by the way, Mike, I had another sibling that I didn't tell you about. So I honestly would put this in 50-50. I know that might be a hot take, but yeah. Adopted bro. So all the, like, adopted theories, there's more. Like, BV adopted. Those ones are saying that Afton adopted his children. I'm going to put this in debunked, just being honest. Because we know that Michael says, they thought I was you. So that means that Michael looks like his father, meaning he's not adopted. Adult theory, I don't even have to explain. Afton's happiest day. So I'm assuming this theory says that happiest day is for the Aftons, and that the FNAF World drowning ending is actually, because you can see it like there, like FNAF World. Yeah, like this screen is Michael's a robot. This theory is saying that this screen from FNAF World, this is Michael, and then the other two are Bite Victim and Elizabeth. And I guess Happiest Day would be for the Aftons, and then this scene happens after Happiest Day. I don't hate the idea of this being the Afton siblings. I don't hate that. I just think... I'm turning this off. I'm sorry. I can't... for some reason, background music just isn't my thing today. This is... I don't hate this idea. I just think at the time, Scott did not plan for the Afton family as we see them here. I do think he had Michael and Bite Victim. I don't think Elizabeth existed. I think this is supposed to be Scott and his kids. I think this is Scott and these are his two kids. And the drowning ending is Scott's happiest day, if that makes sense. So I'm going to put this one in 50-50. I don't hate the idea. I don't hate it, but I just don't think it's that likely. Two happiest days, one for the MCI and the other for the Aftons. Yeah. Like, I don't hate the idea of everyone getting their own happiest day. I just don't think that this is the Aftons. Afton MM, I'm putting it confirmed. The Spring Bonnie antenna topper in 5 Laps of Freddy's confirms that Afton is the driver. There's also unused text that says, the Midnight Motor vehicle is perfect for fleeing a crime scene, which connects it to Charlie's death. Pretty simple. Agony plush is the theory that Bite victim's Fredbear plush is, sorry, I have the hiccups, is possessed by his agony. So Michael torments Bite victim's agony infects the plush, and that's who's talking to him. This theory is in my top 3 for who the Fredbear plush is. I'm going to put it 50-50, though. I honestly don't know which plush theory I believe in, just being honest. It was in John Fnaf's timeline. Yeah, I think I agree, nobody. All the agony theories are like, other than like the shadow animatronics, agony is a weird thing in FNAF where it can just be used to describe anything. Like, obviously there are some things that are possessed by agony, like Eleanor, the Mimic to some extent. The shadows probably are agony, but the plush is a weird one. Agony Tangle, I'm pretty sure, says that the Tangle is made up of the agony of the parts that are in there. So, like, the puppet mask, baby's head, Bonnie, Chica, Mangle, those parts, their agony is what makes up the Tangle. Gonna put that one in very unlikely. Just because, don't get me wrong, I do think the Tangle is agony, but I don't think it's this agony. I might move this one. Depending on other Tangle theories. If there's a Tangle theory that says, like, it's the Mimic's victims from the epilogues, then I would move it. But for now, actually, I might put it there. This will change. Agony victim? I think this is the first one we have to look up. This is the first one we have to look up. The theory that Fredbear is possessed by the bite victim due to his agony after the bite. The agony, it hurts. Okay. Oh, it's just Walmart shatter victim? Okay. I mean, I believe in shatter victim, not agony victim, so I'm just going to put this in very unlikely. Alright, alleyway Aftons. This is the theory that the alleyway poster in FNAF 6 represents the Aftons. This obviously works. It works very well. William is the puppet master. His puppet is Michael, like we see in Sister Location. There's a clown, which is Baby/Elizabeth, and then by extent the bear is Bite Victim, which works with Shatter Victim and Golden Duo. The thing is, and I don't have a source for this, like I can't pull up the source, but the person who created this artwork said that Scott did not tell them to add this. They did not get instructions from Scott to draw it this way. Therefore, I think any parallels with the Aftons are coincidental. However, it is very specific, first of all, and Scott still included it in the game. That, to me, is pretty good evidence. So I'm going to put this at the top of 50-50. I wouldn't say it's close to confirmed. If anything, it's close to debunked. But it's still very specific that it has legs to stand on. Alt Eleanor. No idea what that is. The theory that in the game's continuity... Oh, it's the theory that Eleanor is in the game's continuity, but not the same one we see in Frights. Okay. Oh, don't worry, nobody. We'll get to Charlie 82. We'll get to there. Don't you worry. I'm just going in order. I'm not purposefully avoiding talking about any theories. I'm just trying to go in order because there's a lot and I don't really want to jump around. But I don't believe in Charlie 82. Yeah. Eleanor. This gets into a bigger debate about the books. I do think Eleanor is the same. Yeah, we'll talk about Charlie 82. We'll talk about it. I do think Eleanor is the same, right? I don't know what would be different about her, to be honest. Yeah, I do think she's in Return to the Pit. And Frailty, yeah. I don't really like this theory. I think if Eleanor exists in the books, she exists in the games. That's, yeah. Andrew Afton, very unlikely. Never, zero evidence. I don't even, what even is the evidence for that? Oh my god, there's no, there's no evidence. Okay, well, this is, it's not debunked, but there's zero evidence. Okay, good to know, good to know. Andrew Boy Sprite. This is saying that the sprite in the fetch minigame from Into the Pit is Andrew. This one's very unlikely. Just because fetch kills the person in the minigame. That really only happens because Andrew possesses fetch. So, don't get me wrong, I don't think it's a bad theory, and I like how it tries to explain Andrew. I just think we see the MCI happen, it will not happen, we see the aftermath of the MCI and Into the Pit, and there's 6 victims, and nowhere is it ever implied that this happens in correlation to the minigame. The MCI happens in correlation to the fetch minigame. Andrew DCI, this one's also very unlikely. Just because, again, Into the Pit associates Andrew with the MCI, not the DCI. Andrew experiments, again, Into the Pit shows Andrew's connection to the MCI, not the experiments. Granted, this has more evidence than DCI. Silver DCI. Is that one on here? I'm getting ahead of myself. This one at least has evidence with one of UCN's offices being the Fnaf 4 bedroom. Other than that, very unlikely. Andrew Games, this is the theory that the Fazbear Frights stories connected to Andrew happen in the game's timeline, and no other stories, which I guess includes the epilogues. I don't know. I'm either Stitch Line, everything, or nothing. I don't know. This one's very much cherry picking. Andrew Happiest Day. This theory says that Andrew is the kid wearing the alligator mask in Happiest Day. I don't believe it. I don't think so. Andrew never makes reference to Happiest Day in the Stitch Line stingers, so I don't know. Obviously it's fine if you use this as a visual for Andrew, but I don't think it's literally Andrew. Probably there. Andrew MCI. I'm putting that in close to confirmed. I'm maybe not. Okay, I wish there was a theory on here that said Andrew was before the MCI, but 2 days before, because I do think Andrew is. I think Andrew is grouped in with the MCI. Yeah, Sonia, you're right. These are all chopped. Andrew's just a chopped character. I think Andrew is grouped in with the MCI because he's the victim who dies 2 days before it in Return to the Pit. So this is the closest one to that, I think. So it's going to go highest. Andrew MM. I'm just going to put all the Midnight Motorist theories in debunked. He's not the runaway. I think the runaway is Michael or Grindchild. Yeah. Yeah, I agree, Soonier. Most of Andrew's theories are pretty bad. Andrew OMC, this one's only evidence really is the fact that Old Man Consequences might be an alligator. But Andrew and Old Man Consequences do not act similar at all. Technically not debunked, but not very likely. Andrew Pizza. Hang on. This one. Yeah, get up there, you. Andrew Pizza is confirmed. I don't make the rules. I just enforce them. Andrew Plush, very unlikely. Yeah. Okay. Now we get into the, yeah. Andrew Pizza and confirmed. Yeah. Don't worry. It's above confirmed. This one, above confirmed, yeah. All right. Andrew being the vengeful spirit isn't confirmed. I know I've kind of been mean to the Andrew theories today. I haven't really been accepting of some, but I won't go as far as to say it's confirmed. I won't. I wouldn't even say it's close to confirmed, to be honest, just because the books are in such a weird place now. So to compromise with chat, because I know some people don't really believe Andrew's the vengeful spirit, we're kind of split, I'll put it at top of B. Even though if I wasn't doing this tier list as a stream, I probably would put it in A tier, but I won't. Andrew victim? Very likely. I don't think there's any evidence for this, really. Yeah, what is the evidence for this? Oh, what is this? Evidence. That's not evidence, that's hypothetical. 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 Yeah, okay. That's no real evidence for it. Oh my god, there's so many Andrew theories. Andrew Witness. This one, I don't hate this one, to be honest. I really don't. I like the idea that Andrew saw the MCI and that's why William killed him. But again, I think he died before the MCI, so. Andrew first. I don't think he's the very first victim, but I think he's before the MCI. Probably there. Yeah. Alright. Finally done with Andrew. We don't have to talk about him anymore. For now. Another CC. This is the theory that Glitchtrap / the Mimic chose Gregory purely because of his similarities to Crimechild. And then after that is another David, which is the theory that the Mimic is recreating David through Gregory. What do we make of this? Which, I do think one of these is correct. I'll be honest, I think one of these is correct, but I don't know which one. Curious to hear chat's opinion, because I don't know. Another CC makes sense from a Glitchtrap point of view. Another David makes sense from a Mimic point of view. So, I am curious to know what your guys' opinion is. I don't know. Well, we're screwed. Yeah, it's... You don't like the David one? I'll put them both in 50-50. Right? Another both. Yeah, I'll put them together, just because I don't know which one, and it doesn't look like chat does either. Anti-dream. This is the theory that dream theory was never correct. Confirmed. Scott has multiple times joked about dream theory, and obviously in today's modern theorizing world, no one actually believes it. Arcade theory is the theory that the arcade games in Fnaf 2, 3, that's really it, are haunted by the agony and spirits of the missing children. I'm going to be honest. I didn't like, I don't really like this theory, but it's confirmed. In the Ticket to Fun book, there's a section talking about arcade cabinets that come to life and have weird messages and glitches. That's pretty arcadey theory. You know, it's basically confirmed. I wouldn't say close to confirmed. I don't know. I'll move it down there. I don't like the theory, but it's the closest we're going to get to confirmation. Auction theory is the theory that after the FNAF 3 fire, the auction that's talked about, Michael buys all this stuff from the auction. Very unlikely. There's no evidence for that. God, it's so weird. Where do we put this in relation to the Andrew stuff? I guess, like, there. Yeah, Sunior, I agree. I think if the arcade games are haunted, it's by agony. 100%. 100%. I don't think the spirits are actually haunting them. Well, to be fair, nobody. That's true. It wasn't written by Scott, but it's still Scott still sees the final version of everything, right? He says no to like merch that has lore stuff in it, like the Cassidy Kazoo. This is a very special book for FNAF, the first of its kind. So I don't see why Scott wouldn't oversee it, and I don't see why he would allow it to get through the system with something as big as Charlie dying at Freddy's. Tier between C and D. I don't know, if anything, I kind of want to put one between S and A, but we'll roll with this for now. We'll roll with this. This, I don't know why this is here. It should be with the P's. Should be like... Sorry, I don't know my alphabet. I'll just throw it there. Alright, Baffled Killers. Okay, I think this one's saying that the animatronics attack you in FNAF 1 because they think Mike looks like William. This, I believed this for a while, but not into the bit. The week before debunked this because the attack Ralph. So I'm gonna put it like there. Very unlikely. It still could be the case for Michael, but as a whole, it's not true. Ballora Afton. This is the theory that Ballora is possessed by Mrs. Afton. Probably there. There's no real evidence for it other than Ballora's song, but even then the lyrics weren't written by Scott, which kind of contradicts what I said about Ticket to Fun, to be honest, because that wasn't written by Scott. Ballora's song wasn't written by Scott. Anyway, yeah, there's not really that much evidence for it outside of that, and thematic parallels. So yeah. BB Victim is the theory that Balloon Boy is possessed by a bite victim. It's not debunked, but like there's no evidence for it. Blackout MM, I'm assuming it's just the theory that Afton's wasted during Midnight Motorist. Yeah. It's the... Oh, if it loads. Okay, whatever. It's the theory that Yellow Guy was blackout drunk due to excessive alcohol during the events of Midnight Motorist. Not confirmed, but definitely close to confirmed, right? Because Yellow Man is very much drunk. His posture, his words. So I think that's close to confirmed. Blob DCI. No evidence. Blob MCI has a little bit more evidence, but it's honestly, if anything, it's Agony Tangle, not Blob MCI. That's like saying the spirits are there. Bon Bon Millie. This is the theory that Bon Bon is possessed by Millie, because in the Count the Ways minigame from Into the Pit, Bon Bon is the last thing that you run to before the minigame ends. No. No. First of all, the events of Count the Ways do not happen before Sister Location. And secondly, that's just a silly theory. So, some theories are, yeah. Bounce Pot 87 Bite. Who's Millie? She is the protagonist of the Count the Ways story. In Into the Pit, she has that mini game where you're running into the room and you see a bunch of stuff, and then it ends with her dying. Spoiler. Bounce Pot Bite. This is the theory that Bounce Pot did the bite of 87. Now, before you start questioning it, this one has evidence. I hope they show the image of it here. If it loads, I don't know what's up with the FNAF Theories wiki today. Yep. It was probably deleted. Okay, well, anyway, at the... What is up with Yahoo? Okay. So, at the end of the FNAF World mobile port, you get this whole dialogue about it's where Yellow Eyes is talking to you, right? And he says, like, it's me, I caused the bite of 87. And then it gets revealed. That's right, mind blown. It all makes sense when you think about it. All hail Bounce Pot. So it's a joke saying that Bounce Pot is the Yellow Eyes and did the bite of 87. But, you know, he outright said it, so I'm putting that in Andrew Pizza tier. These two are confirmed theories. More than confirmed. And that's that. Bullies MCI is the theory that the bullies from FNAF 4 are the MCI kids. Pretty debunked. Because Michael is definitely not Fritz. Burn Afton is the theory that Burntrap is William Afton. Like, I think his spirit as well as the body. Yeah, don't worry, I put that one debunked. I think Steel Wool thought Burntrap was William Afton, but I don't think that's what Scott intended. I think Scott intended for him to be the Mimic. And didn't even intend for him to be a physical thing. He just wanted him to appear in the corner of your eye as a ghost. This is a tricky one. I'm going to put it into 50-50. I don't think William Afton is back, but Steel Wool definitely intended for him to be. So we'll put it right in the middle. Burn Mimic is the theory that Burntrap is the Mimic. This one I do believe. And I won't put it in close to confirmed, but I'll put it at the top, near the top of 50-50. Burntrap's just so weird to theorize about. Burntrap canon ending? Debunked. Because it has a drawing in Ruin, whereas Princess Quest ending does not. Burntrap's pod is not open in Ruin, which I guess doesn't matter anyway, because Burntrap's not in there. And the place isn't destroyed. If it was destroyed, then it would be canon, but it's not, so yeah. Brooks Toy Schnick. This is the theory that Michael Brooks from the Silver Eyes novel trilogy is the vengeful spirit. Very unlikely. There's zero evidence Michael Brooks exists in the games, let alone that he's inside Golden Freddy. Brooks' victim is the theory that Michael Brooks is Bite victim. Actually, let me double check that. Nice if I could spell. Yeah. Okay, it is saying that Michael Brooks is bite victim. Nope. Well, okay. I don't know what I was going to say. It's debunked. Michael Brooks is not the same as Afton, last names, so into debunked. Yeah, he could be a parallel, but these theories are saying it's literally him, but I do think he is a parallel in some way. BV fifth. Now we get into the bite victims theories. And my god, there's a lot of them. No. Just no. I know we shouldn't use the guidebooks for lore, especially not the ultimate guide. But it says use the logbook to find the name behind the grave, and the timings just match up, and it just makes sense. Plus, Scott confirmed that Cassidy is a character through one of the movie scripts, and it just doesn't make sense. So I'm gonna put it in debunked. Yeah. Yeah. It is poo. Yeah. Hell no, I agree. BV83, this one's confirmed by Scott himself. He said in a Reddit post when talking about one of MatPat's timeline theories, he said, hey, if you're confused about 83 versus 87, watch MatPat's video and breathe a sigh of relief. This is one of the very few things that's actually been confirmed by Scott himself. Zero misinterpretation. This, along with two other theories, which I'm sure we'll get to, without a doubt confirmed. I know you can't argue against it, but you shouldn't because Scott himself confirmed it. Yeah. Yeah. BV 87 is, by extent, debunked. BV adopted. A lot of these adopted theories I just don't really like. Like, yeah, it makes sense with the Immortal and the Restless, but the whole point of the Immortal and the Restless is that the baby is his. If Vlad is William, the baby is his, therefore isn't adopted. So I just don't like it. Where did I put the other adopted theory? Right there. I'm going to put them all together. BV Afton, I mean, I don't know that the image is a little misleading, but yeah, bite victim is 100% Afton. The movie, Mike's relationship with Garrett and Abby, that's very clearly meant to parallel the three Afton children. Plus, he lives in the same house as Foxy Bro, who is definitely Michael. So it's not technically confirmed, but very much close to confirmed. BV Bear. This is the theory that in the Bear of Vengeance, Freddy is bite victim. I'm going to be completely honest with you guys. I don't have a solid explanation for the Bear of Vengeance, so I'm just going to throw it into 50-50. Like, there. Yeah. If anything, I think the Bear of Vengeance is about the vengeful spirit. Vengeance, vengeful spirit. And I don't think bite victim's the vengeful spirit. Sorry. Bite victim dreamer. This is the theory that bite victim is the protagonist in the Fnaf 4 nightmares. This was somewhat debunked by the logbook showing that Michael had the dreams. But that doesn't mean bite victim still couldn't have experienced them. But I know that's its own theory. Right there. So I'm just going to put this in very unlikely. Bite victim Emily? Yeah, no. FNAF 4 is definitely not about the Emilys. Hi, Joey. No, it's okay. Compared to everything else we have, you have not missed much. Bite victim experiments. This one I'm also going to put in 50-50. Because maybe not 50-50. When I used to believe Charlie first, I did have bite victim experience as, pretty confirmed, but now I don't. I think, if anything, Michael went through the experiments, So I'll keep it in 50-50 because I respect the game. But I'll put it at the middle. Yeah, bite victim favorite is ass. I agree, Soonier. William did not have a favorite. If he did, it probably wasn't bite victim. You know, I've always said that, like, William probably sees a lot of himself in bite victim. Not, like, literally, but, like, bite victim is weak. He's scared. He's just a crybaby. William probably sees a lot of that weakness in himself. He's scared of death. He's, you know, he probably doesn't like seeing weakness in one of his children, in one of his tools. So I don't think any of the favorite theories, especially not this one, are true. So we're gonna put it there. Yeah, if anything, it's Michael or Elizabeth. Yeah. Hi, Club Penguin. BV first. All right, chat. Raise your hand. I want to see something. This is probably going to be one of the most debated theories we have on here. Raise your hand if you believe in bite victim first. I want to see something. Nobody. I know you. I know your answer. I know you think Charlie's first. I just want to see how many people in chat think that bite victim died first. No judgment, but I'm curious. I'm just curious. Because I will also raise my hand. I will raise my hand. I do think bite victim's first. You're still Charlie first? Yeah. I'm gonna be honest, Ticket to Fun really solidly made me BV first. Yeah, I think knowing that Charlie dies at Freddy's and Freddy's opens in 1983, to me, it makes more narrative sense if bite victim's first, if the first death happens at the first location, and that is the first location to close, not counting like Fall Fest and stuff. So it seems like I have an unpopular opinion here, but I'm going to put this one in 50-50. I won't put it in close to confirmed, because I still respect you guys, and I won't do that. I'm going to grab Charlie first and throw it up there too. Just because, you know, I was so adamant on Charlie first, but then I switched to BV first, and now I'm very adamant on that. So I understand that they're the two most likely options. It's obviously one of these two. And yeah. The movie? See, but I counter that with Help Wanted tells us that Freddy's opened in 83. But I'm assuming your counter to that would be that Ticket to Fun wasn't written by Scott. But my counter to that would be not everything has to be written by Scott. But I do get your line of thinking, Nobody. I understand why you think Charlie first and Charlie 82. And I do think the movie is really good evidence for that. But I personally don't believe it. Charlie's first because William wanted revenge. Yeah, again, it can go either way. I'm not here to convert you guys to BV first or Charlie first. I think I'm gonna play it safe and just put them together. Yeah, and we're just gonna leave it at that. We're just gonna leave it at that. I'm gonna move Cassidy up too, just so we get that out of the way. The vengeful spirit is either Andrew or Cassidy. I don't think it's bite victim, which is somewhere on here. I don't think it's bite victim. Yeah. With these two theories, it's one or the other. Either bite victim's first or Charlie's first. Either Andrew's the vengeful spirit or Cassidy. You could make a fine argument for bite victim, but honestly, and I get the line of thinking for bite victim being the vengeful spirit. I just think if that's the case, then you play as Michael, and I don't think that's the case. So I'm going to throw this one in very unlikely. Like, there. Yes, we can all agree that Elizabeth first sucks. 100%. 100%. Yeah. What job do I work? I am a cashier at Lowe's. A cashier. Your boy deals with money. Alright, BV MCI friends. This is the theory that the MCI victims were bite victims' friends. I don't hate this idea. I really don't. There's no evidence for it. Like, yeah, you could say that, like, bite victims, these are my friends line is talking about that, but that gets into MCI 83, which I don't think is that. So I am going to put this one in very unlikely. Probably there. Yeah, you've never heard of that? A lot of these are pretty obscure. Like, you won't see game theory talking about, I don't know, DCI Midnight Motorist or Fnaf Arkham, which we'll get to. Yeah, it's a fun headcanon. I agree with you, Sunir. It is a very fun headcanon. Headcanon. I think a lot of these are, to be honest. Like, doing a timeline where, I don't know, one of the Aftons is adopted. I think that would be fun, but I don't think it's canon. BV Mound. This plays into the idea of who dies first again, which I don't want to talk about. So I'm just going to put this in 50-50. Like, right there. Because I do think bite victim is in the mound, but obviously if you are someone who believes in Charlie first, you wouldn't say that. So thank you, Ard. Thank you. Absolute Cinema. Edwin Mound. Oh, God. BV None? What is this theory? I think it's saying that Foxy Bro and Bite Victim aren't either Afton's or Emily's. Yeah, that one's debunked. Maybe, yeah, no, it's debunked. Obviously, these two have importance. Come on, they're not just some random family. BVOMC. No, I would rather believe Andrew is Old Man Consequences than Bite Victim. Oh, you guys are talking about the Cassidy theories. I was very confused why you guys were talking about Cassidy. Puppet Victim? Okay, well, we're trying to go in alphabetical order here. Come on, we'll get to that. BV Receiver is the theory that Bite Victim is the happiest day receiver. I would say that Return to the Pit not debunked it, but provided evidence against it. I think Old Man Consequences is just a guy. I don't think he's any important character. I think he's just a deity that's there to help souls. I think that might be its own. Yeah, OMC deity. That's what I think. I don't think he's an actual character. If anything, he might be Edwin, which isn't a theory on here, I don't think. Oh, no, it is. I think if anything, he might be Edwin, but that's definitely a retroactive retcon. BV Receiver, I don't believe. I think Cassidy is the happiest day receiver because of Return to the Pit, showing that she is the last one to get cake, which parallels happiest day. And the whole point of the happiest day ending in Return to the Pit is showing that it is, an early version of happiest day. So I think those two are meant to parallel each other, even if it doesn't happen in Return to the Pit. I think that's still supposed to parallel it, making this very unlikely. But I did believe it for a time. But I just don't think it's the case now. Where's Purple Guy's Toy Chica? Good question. Good question. Surely that's got to be on here. It isn't. We're washed. This is washed. That's a good question, though. That should be on here. Oh, yeah. Into the Pit game is very good. Very good. Highly recommend it. BV Runaway. Again, this is another theory that, like, relies heavily on BV first and Charlie first. I believed it for a time, but now I don't. So, yeah. We're just going to put all the, like, Midnight Motorist theories and stuff like that together. Sammy victim is the theory that Sammy from the books is bite victim. No, definitely not. Bite victim Schmidt. This is the theory that in the movies, Mike Schmidt parallels Foxy Bro, Garrett parallels Crime Child. I think this is correct to some extent. I think it's on the same level as Abby Beth, but higher. Again, I think the Schmidts are supposed to parallel the Afton children. But not fully. Because obviously Michael Afton, I won't spoil it, but, if you know, you know. Yeah, the live is delayed, Joey. I've tried to fix it. There's like a setting on here. I don't know where it is, but there's a setting on here, and I turned it so there shouldn't be a delay, but there is. Sorry about that. I'm sorry. Can we put Will Care in debunked? Is Will Care here? It is. Oh god. We'll get to, I just want to go in alphabetical order, but soon believe me, when we get to Will Care, I'm gonna make a tier below debunked for Will Care. Don't you worry about it. I'll take care of it. BV stuffed. This is the theory that Bite Victim, after he died, was stuffed into Golden Freddy. I semi-believe this. I don't think Bite Victim was literally stuffed into Golden Freddy by William. I think his spirit was. It's a whole thing I have. It's a theory that I honestly should make a video on. I think the Dreadbear minigame in Curse of Dreadbear is showing William putting Bite Victim's soul into Golden Freddy. I don't think he was literally stuffed, though. So, probably, like... Because, like, Cassidy is stuffed into Golden Freddy. So, I don't know. Like, there. What's your favorite theory? Ooh, that's a good question. We'd have to go... I would have to answer this at the end of the stream. Definitely not one that's in, like, C or D tier. These aren't really theories. Probably, like, a Midnight Motorist theory, or probably one of the B tiers. Probably. Did you know that Freddy Fazbear is a bear? Did you know that Ard is a Sigma? I don't know. BV survival. Pretty sure this is the theory that after the bite victim survived, which then gets into a whole can about Mike victim, which there's nothing that says he survives. We hear the flatline at the end of FNAF 4. BV World Player. This is the theory that Bite Victim is the player of FNAF World. He's the one who's controlling the animatronics. He's the one who sets the pieces in place. I don't believe this. Purely because Glitch Bear's dialogue it talks about setting the pieces for him. That him is Bite Victim. So, it wouldn't really make sense if Bite Victim is the one doing both. Golden Duo? That is a good question, nobody. Party Hat is missing. Party Hat is MIA. But yeah, this one's... I'm going to put it in debunked. There's no way Bite Victim can be doing both. So, probably like there. Yeah. Yeah. Cassidy Andrews. This Okay. This is the theory that Cassidy's last name is Andrews. I'm pretty sure the evidence for this comes from the week before, where there is a Mrs. Andrews who has a missing child. People have connected that to Cassidy because of the last name Andrews. People think it's a reference to the vengeful spirit debate, and they think it'd be funny if Cassidy's last name was Andrew. That way, in a way, both Cassidy and Andrew are the vengeful spirit. I've always seen this as a joke theory, but it's not funny like these two, so I'm just gonna put that in. It's not debunked, but there's no way that's the case. That'd be so stupid. Yeah, it's fan fiction. Yeah. Yeah, and it's a silly idea. Cassidy Andrew siblings, same thing. No evidence for that one at all. I don't even think it makes narrative sense, to be honest. And it just makes the world a lot smaller. Cassidy Bonnie, this one's only true in the books. In the games, we know that Jeremy is Bonnie. I'm putting that debunked. Yeah, in the books it's true. In the games, it's very clearly not. Yeah, Andrew Andrews. that is totally something I can see Scott doing. Totally. Okay, let's get the Cassidy gender ones out of the way. Cassidy. Cassidy boy and Cassidy girl. Cassidy, in the books and Return to the Pit, is shown to be a girl. The movie has a blonde kid possessing Golden Freddy who the script calls Cassidy. The games, we don't know. We don't know. I do think she is a girl. I think Cassidy boy is honestly just... I get why people think it. I do. I do. And Cassidy is a unisex name, so it is used for either one of them, which Scott definitely did on purpose. Yeah, Princess Quest. The princess is a girl. The princess represents Cassidy. I wouldn't put this in confirmed, because the movie throws a wrench in it. Because the kid is named Cassidy in the script that the actor got. To be fair, we don't technically know if that's his name or not, though, because we don't have access to that script, and it doesn't say it in the novelization of the movie either. And I was about to spoil it, but in case you haven't seen it, I won't. So I'm going to put Cassidy girl in close to confirmed. Cassidy boy, I'm going to put in very unlikely. Yeah. It does sound like more like a girl. It does. Cassidy Burger? What? We can close that. Honestly, I'm going to put this one at the bottom. Just because I do think it is debunked. But I won't put it in debunked just because Ultimate Custom Night. Actually, it might be both. Oh, okay, this is... Cassidy Burger is the theory that Cassidy was made into a burger and eaten by William Afton. If Andrew was yummy, Afton would probably be craving another meal. It is a good reason to be vengeful. Hell nah, this is a blatant ripoff of Andrew Pizza. Dude. Okay, we're putting this one in the same tier as Andrew Pizza. Yeah, these are the top 3 theories of all time. Alright, Cassidy87/DCI. This is obviously the theory that Cassidy is part of the DCI and died in 87. No. Cassidy is shown to be represented with the MCI, which happened in 85. So, debunked. Voila. In fact, I should probably put Andrew DCI in debunked too. But I won't because he's more mysterious. BV Hot Dog. He's the hot dog from Fnaf 3, God. Cassidy doesn't care. This is the theory that... No, actually, I'm not going to say that because it might be wrong. I want to say it's Ultimate Custom Night related. It's the theory that Cassidy doesn't care about the events happening around them. That's a lot of evidence, but I think it's just like saying, it could be true. I don't think so. Cassidy is shown to be a helpful spirit in the logbook. She clearly does care. Plus, if she is the vengeful spirit, she does care. And if she moves on with the spirits, she definitely cares. Return to the pit. She is there. She moves on with them. She very much does care. Putting this one in debunked. Probably like there. Cassidy drowning. This is the theory that Cassidy is the ghost girl from Drowning. The evidence is that the girl, in case you don't know, Drowning is a Tales from the Pizzaplex story about I think it's a girl who gets trapped in a VR game about water, and there is a ghost with black hair who drowned and haunts the protagonist. The evidence for this is, again, the black hair. There's also a framed photo of the girl in a house wearing old clothes, which could represent, the MCI took place in the 80s, and the story takes place in, like, the 2020s or the 2030s. Also, Cassidy is associated with drowning. In the Old Man Consequence... I'm losing my voice. In the Old Man Consequences ending in UCN, Cassidy drowns in the river. In the pond. It makes sense, but requires Cassidy to still be around during the events of Security Breach and Help Wanted, when Happiest Day shows that is not the case. So, not a bad theory, and if we were still in the era of Security Breach, where, like, we all thought the old characters were coming back, I would put this one in close to confirmed. But now we live in a post-Mimic world, where there are probably no old characters, so I'm going to put it in very unlikely. Still, it is a fun theory. I like it. I do like it. Who's Old Man Consequences? So, I can just pull up in Fnaf World, he is the secret character you see when you go too far into the code, like the tunnels, the 8-bit tunnels. And in Ultimate Custom Night, he is one of the enemies. Yeah, that's just him. Yeah. Cassidy MM, again, debunked. We know the runaway is either Michael or Bite Victim. Yeah, he's the red guy. Cassidy Plush. This requires MCI 83 to be true, which, nope. Nope. Not a bad idea. I do like the parallel of the logbook, but I don't think it's true. I'm going to put it lower. Probably like there. Yeah, they're both yellow. Alright, Cassidy Princess. Quickly, while nobody's gone. I used to think Cassidy was the princess, but I don't anymore. I think the princess is... Oh, so let me make sure I'm centered. Yeah. I think the princess is a representation of Cassidy, right? This is, again, another video I need to make a theory on. We know that you can use Mimic code combined with memories to create replicas of old characters. That's what Mimic did. Glitch Trap is the Mimic plus the memories of Afton, which makes Glitch Trap. We know that from Help Wanted 2 for a fact. Why can't the same be true with Cassidy, where you take Mimic code, throw in Cassidy and Golden Freddy's memories specifically, and then you get the princess? That's what I think Curse of Dreadbear is about. It's putting all the info and the lore and the history of Golden Freddy, Fredbear, in one place, combining it with Mimic code to create Dreadbear, aka the princess. I know that sounds like a far-fetched idea. Yeah, it's been longer than 4 months. I know that sounds like a far-fetched idea. But it makes sense. I like it. No, it's not a popular theory. It's really not. Which is why I need to make a video on it. But I like it. I think it's possible. I believe it. It's the Princess Quest theory, I believe. So, for that reason, I'm going to be a little selfish here and put it in 50-50. I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry. Yeah. No, you're not late. You're not late. You're not late. You're definitely not late. What's next? Cassidy receiver. I'm going to put it in confirmed. I do think this is confirmed. I think Return to the Pit confirmed it. Which, by extension, confirms this. But actually, how long have we been going for? It feels like it's been 2 hours, I'm going to be completely honest. Cassidy Afton. Doesn't really have that much evidence. If any, so probably like there. Cassidy speaker. Isn't this the same? No, they're different. I don't think so. I'm just going to put it next to Cassidy plush. Cassidy Springlock. This is the theory that Cassidy was springlocked to death inside Golden Freddy. The evidence is that Ultimate Custom Night cutscene where you see Golden Freddy tweaking like Springtrap inside, like William inside Springtrap in the FNAF 3 trailer. This theory really came into existence because of the theory of Cassidy being the vengeful spirit. Outside of Ultimate Custom Night, it doesn't really have evidence. So, I don't really believe it, because a lot of the evidence is for Cassidy being the vengeful spirit. Yeah, Sunir, I 100% agree. The Afton family table and security breach confirms there are only 5 Aftons. Yeah, I didn't even think of that, but you are 100% correct, so goodbye, Andrew Afton. Yeah, 100% correct. Yeah. Yeah, 0 evidence makes the theory pretty bad. It doesn't make it debunked, but it does make it very unlikely. Oh yeah, Kelsey and the new kid. That is true. Yeah, I don't think that's why she's shaking in the Ultimate Custom Night cutscene. I think it's either her moving on or being vengeful. So I'm just going to put it in... This is probably the hottest take, one of the hottest takes I've had in this stream. I don't really think this theory is that likely. But I respect it. I respect the game, so... Yeah. Cassidy victim is the theory that Cassidy is the bite victim. Nope, that's literally just BV 5th. So, you can't trick me. Yeah, plus the drowning connections with Cassidy would be drowning in her own blood inside the suit. I don't know. Cassidy virus is the theory that the Golden Freddy virus that is present in FNAF AR, the C virus as it's called, that is Cassidy's spirit, which probably connects to the princess in Princess Quest. This is a theory I believed when I thought Cassidy was the princess. But again, now I think it's all just, not parallels, but like, I don't know. What's the name I'm thinking of? Stand-ins? I think, you know, like how Glitch Trap is a stand-in for William Afton. You know, I think that's what the C virus is. Stand-in for Cassidy. Bernie. Bernie Bear's the vengeful spirit. Not a bad theory, but not one I believe in anymore. Where did I put Cassidy Princess? We're already starting to have this problem. I'm losing theories. There it is. Yeah, gonna move them all down together. Okay. Cassidy World Player. This is the theory that we play as Cassidy in Fnaf World. I don't know. See, what's weird about Fnaf World, right? I do think that the person who said, "I will put you back together," is William Afton. But they also seem like they're the Yellow Eyes from Fnaf World, who I don't think is William Afton. Because they're all about, like, freeing the bite victim. Kind of just a side tangent. I don't like Yellow Eyes in Fnaf World. Maybe I shouldn't consider it canon then. Like a lot of people. I don't know. Didn't nobody or someone say that, like, the player's a male? I don't know about that. I think the he that's just referred to throughout the game is bite victim. And well, to be fair, this does have evidence. Because in the Old Man Consequences ending, you are a red bear. And in Ultimate Custom Night, that same red bear sprite is used to represent Cassidy. And in Ultimate Custom Night, Old Man Consequences does not reintroduce himself to the player, to Cassidy. Meaning that you probably do play as Cassidy in this game. So, you know what? I'm going to put that into 50-50. Because I did not think of that before. I'm going to have to check my timeline. I might actually change it so that Cassidy is the one doing FNAF World. Like, she's the one controlling the adventure animatronics. That's... Yellow Eyes Mimic? Oh, God. Charlie 46? Debunked. We know who Patient 46 is, and it is not... Charlie. Yeah, now we're getting into Charlie. We gotta get through this before nobody gets back. Charlie 79. Very unlikely. Charlie 82. Come on. Very unlikely. Charlie 83. Close to confirmed. Whew, that was close. 85. All right. Phew. That was close. That was a close one. Also, I just realized it's kind of funny how I think it's kind of funny how Charlie 46 has the same naming convention as, like, Charlie 79. That kind of makes it sound like it's saying, like, Charlie died in 1946, which is hilarious. Oh god, nobody's back. Oh no. I'm sorry, nobody. I'm sorry. I just don't think Charlie 82 is that likely. I'll put it above this one, though. I'll put these two at the top, though. I just don't really think they're that likely. Fine, I'll move it to the top, okay? Please don't hurt me. I can't put it in 50-50. I'm sorry. I think it's very unlikely. Not debunked. I didn't put it in debunked, and I did move it to the top. So, compromise. Charlie drowning is the theory that Charlie is the drowning girl who we were talking about. I think that's very unlikely. I think, if anything, it is Cassidy. But even that, I don't think it's Cassidy, so. Charlie Fredbear's. This is another debunked theory. Ticket to Fun debunked it. Confirmed Charlie Freddy's. I know nobody doesn't think, you know, the validity of Ticket to Fun, because it wasn't written by Scott, but Scott approved it. Scott had to have approved it. Granted, he approved the Ultimate Guide 2.0, and that has Chica's Diddy Party, but I think they're different situations. Put it there. Charlie Friends DCI. This is the theory that Charlie's friends from the novel trilogy, you know, John, Carla, Carlton, John, Carlton, Marla, someone else I can't think of. They are the DCI victims from FNAF 2. I don't really like this theory. Right? I do like giving the novel characters more importance in the games, but I don't think they're the DCI. I don't like giving them a role that shafts them one game in, so I'm just going to put this one in very unlikely. I appreciate it for what it's trying to do, but I don't really like it. My main source of lore for my theory videos? Well, first and foremost, the games. My level of canon goes like this. I think the games are at the top. Whatever the games say overrides whatever the books and such say. Then I think it's the books. I think the logbook is at the top. Then, like Ticket to Fun is next to it. Below that is Frights and Tales. And then below the books is the novel trilogy. And then at the very bottom is the movie. I know nobody probably doesn't like hearing that, but like the movie's so weird because like it has such weird stuff, and like the Wizards not being the same as the classics, the DCI don't exist, Charlie dying in 1982. Like the movies have a lot of stuff that's just wrong for the games or very unlikely for the games. But they also do have stuff that could be true, like Vanessa being an Afton. Like Mrs. Afton exists in the FNAF 2 behind the scenes photos. Yeah, I really should mention that in like a video of like the Bernie Bear funnel of canon. I think the books are secondary canon. I think the novel trilogy is like third canon, and I think the movie's just it's good supporting evidence like the Ultimate Guides, but I just don't think it's above the books. I'll say that. Charlie Mound, never seen anyone try to argue this before. Charlie Plush. Charlie Plush is an interesting one. This is one that I, again, believed. It relies on Charlie first, which I don't believe, so we're just going to put it there. It does make sense. Charlie saying, I will put you back together, makes sense. Yeah. Charlie post MCI. Okay, well, regardless of when you think Charlie died, I do think we can all agree that she died before the MCI. I know Charlie 87 is a pretty popular theory, but at least in this chat we seem to unanimously agree it was before the MCI. Yeah, the Wizards got shafted in the movie hard. Shafted. I wouldn't say this one's debunked, because technically it does have really good evidence with Princess Quest 4. But Charlie pre-MCI seems pretty likely. Pretty likely. Yeah. Charlie Speaker. I'm just going to put it next to Charlie Plush. Charlie being the vengeful spirit. This is a theory that I did not take seriously before the movie. But in the movie, Charlie is very vengeful. Very vengeful. I can 100% see her doing UCN. Unlike the Golden Freddy kid, who's very much wanting to just move on with the others. So this one I can see being true in the movie universe. But in the games, it seems like it's either Andrew or Cassidy. So I'm going to put this one in very unlikely. Chica Bite is the theory that Chica did the bite of 87. The evidence for that is in Help Wanted, Chica has blood stains on her endo jaw. Let me see if I can pull that up. Anytime now, Google. Let me see if I can pull it up. Yeah. I feel like a good image of it. I guess this. Yeah, so in Help Wanted, um, these like black splatters on her jaw are red. And yeah, you can actually see it really well there. There's blood on her jaw. This comes from a misunderstanding, though, because in Scott's model, it's not blood. It is just like black cloud speck that he uses for all of his models. So Steelwool saw that, misinterpreted it as blood, meaning there's no real evidence for this theory. So, yeah. I don't like the theory that any of the Wizards did the bite, to be completely honest with you guys. I think it's one of the toys. So, yeah. And she can't even close her mouth, you're right. Yeah. Circus MCI. I'm assuming that's the theory that Circus Baby is possessed by the MCI, which I have never seen before. The MCI victims attach their souls to Circus Baby and Scrap Baby. I have never seen that theory before. That's a silly one. It's like Molten MCI, but with more steps. Very unlikely. Convicted Bro. This is the theory that Foxy Bro and Michael Afton are different people, and Foxy Bro is the one who is convicted for the MCI that we read about in FNAF 1. No. Foxy Bro is Michael Afton. Is that something that's confirmed? No. The movies definitely don't support it. But I'm going to put it in debunked anyway, because this is my live stream and I can do whatever I want. Yeah. Cupcake Dog is the theory that Susie's dog possesses the cupcake. The evidence being the movie, where the cupcake is very dog-like. I don't hate this theory. I just... Outside of the movie, there's not really that much evidence for it, but I'll still put it high. Probably like there. Because it's a fun headcanon. Yeah. And then I see you guys talking about data mount. We'll get to that. Cupcake Garrett is the theory that Garrett possesses the cupcake. No. Nope. Okay. Data mount theory, I don't know. So we're going to find out together. There's not even a FNAF Theories wiki page for it. We have to go off a Reddit post. Okay. What if M2 buried Arnold's data diver in the Midnight Motorist mound? Okay, hang on. We gotta read about this. So it's saying that William knows about the data diver. He digs it up, finds Mimic schematics. He learns about the Mimic AI and uses that in the fun times. And that's how he becomes Glitchtrap. Okay. That's a silly theory. That's ridiculous. First, it requires that the parachute ending is the canon one, which it seems like it is, so that's not that big of a theory. It requires that Glitchtrap is William Afton, which probably not. And Scott did not intend for that. The Ultimate Guide also calls the mound a grave, which it seems like it is. I also don't know why Mimic would even bother burying that. Like, it seems like he wants the data diver for himself. I don't know why he would bury it. So, not debunked, but very unlikely. My favorite FNAF game? What's SC? You said yours was SC or FNAF 2. What's SC? Security Breach? But my favorite FNAF game is Secret of the Mimic, which is actually supposed to be out on Xbox today. I'm looking forward to playing that, hopefully later. Dave Victim. This is the theory that Bite Victim's name is Dave. I used to believe it for like a few months, but now I don't. So I'm going to put it in 50-50. Probably there. Oh, sister location, okay. David Toyshnik. This is the theory that David Murray is the vengeful spirit. This requires Afton to have killed him, which I don't believe. Yeah, the only reason I put Dave Victim in 50-50 tier is because I think it's one of the more likely options for his name, but I would rather use Garrett, and that's what I do use in my timeline. So, but yeah, David being the vengeful spirit is very unlikely. More unlikely than Bite Victim. Hell, maybe more even unlikely than Michael Brooks. It's David's like what, 5 or 6 when he dies. Bro doesn't care. Right now there is no consensus for his name, for Bite Victim's name. All right, DCI 6. This is the theory that there are 6 DCI victims because there are only 5 bodies in the minigame, but there are 6 pools of blood. So I guess it would be like Toy Freddy, Toy Bonnie, Toy Chica, Mangled, Balloon Boy, and JJ. I don't hate that theory, and ultimately the DCI doesn't matter at all in the grand scheme of things. So I'm just going to put this in 50-50. It's possible. We just don't know enough about the DCI, and they don't have enough relevance. So, middle of B tier. DCI Happiest Day is the theory that, these masked kids in Happiest Day are the DCI victims, and they move on with the MCI. I don't think so. I think the DCI just move on after the toys are scrapped. I don't think they need, like, Happiest Day. Granted, I don't know who these kids are, but very unlikely. Very unlikely. Yeah. DCI MM is the theory that Midnight Motorist takes place later that night of the DCI. It explains, like, the 87 dice on the Midnight Motor car in 5 Laps at Freddy's, but I don't like it. I don't like it. I don't like it, guys. I don't like it. I don't like it. The DCI, it stands for Dead Children Incident. It's the bodies we see scattered around the Fnaf 2 location in the Save Them minigame. I almost had to sneeze. Yeah. Trying to think of what's a good stopping point, because I am starting to lose my voice. How about we stop? We can stop after FNAF Arkham. I think that's a good stopping place. Dead God Theory. This is a complicated theory. It basically says that the Blob controls, the Tangle, controls the Nightmare own staff bots, and he acts as, like, their god. He's like the god of the Pizzaplex. I don't like this theory. I don't know what's up with the Nightmare own staff bots, but I don't know. It's a really complicated theory. I didn't do a good job explaining it. Yeah. Probably, like, there. Desk Henry is the theory that Henry is the desk guy from FNAF World. I don't know why this is a debate about who the desk guy is. It's very clearly Scott. He says, you deactivated my games, blah, blah, blah. And in Freddy in Space, we see Scott talking about making more games. So to me, it's always been obvious that desk guy is just Scott Cawthon. So I'm putting this in debunked. Plus, we know Henry didn't make Baby in the games. That was William. Elizabeth says, "Didn't you make her just for me?" So I'm putting this in debunked. Probably like there. Yeah, desk guy is Scott, 100%. Do you think the toys are possessed after the movie? I do. I do. I do. Because The DCI are already irrelevant. I think making them possess the toys gives them some relevance. Just does. Destiny Victim? Isn't that just Shatter Victim, but with, like, more steps? Yeah, Memory Victim is what it's more known as. It's the theory that many of the events in FNAF's timeline happen because of Bite Victim's memories. So, this theory says that the Easter eggs we see in the FNAF 4 minigames, like the tiny toy Chica missing her beak, the grandfather's clock, Mangle being taken apart in the girls' room, those details influence the rest of the timeline so that they happen, so that Toy Chica does take off her beak, so that the grandfather's clock is important, so that Mangle does get taken apart. It's a very weird theory. I think it's a little too out there for FNAF, especially the original 4 games. Very, very out there. I get it. There's a line in the Silver Eyes where it talks about, like, your agony can leave an imprint on the world and stuff like that. And it has to do with agony, and agony is just such a weird concept. I wouldn't say it's debunked, but I prefer Shatter Victim. Yeah, it's God Victim, I think it is. God Victim. Yeah, it is also very complicated. I think a much easier explanation for all those weird Easter eggs in FNAF 4, God, I'm really losing my voice, is not Dream Theory, but kind of arcade theory in a way, where the FNAF 4 minigames are memories that are being influenced by the timeline, kind of a reverse. I would go into it in more detail, but there's a video out there that talks about it, which I don't remember the name of, so I can't recommend it. But yeah, I'm just going to put this in, like, towards the top of very unlikely. My favorite animatronic? Probably still Funtime Freddy. He's just cool. Okay. Different Freddy. This is the theory that ruined Glamrock Freddy is different from our Glamrock Freddy. I'm putting this in debunked. I hate this theory. I hate this one a lot. There's a very good chance that it is the exact same Freddy, right? They're both missing their head. They both have the same damage. They're both in Phaser Blast. I think the prototype tag on the foot is just Steel Wool retconning it into existence to say that's why he crashed during the stage performance. Yeah. Do you prefer Afton or the Mimic? Afton. But only by a little bit. Different Scooper? This is the theory that the Scooper in Ruin is different from the one in Sister Location. I think that's pretty obvious. Look at them. They're not the same. I don't know why it's called a Scooper, to be honest. It's definitely not a Scooper. And I hope this is something that gets elaborated on. But for now, I'm putting it not even there. It's called the Scooper in the files. So it technically is confirmed. It's silly. Alright. Diddy post Sister Location. This is the theory that Didophobia, the story, happens after Sister Location. And then pre, obviously, is, that it happens before. This is something I go back and forth on a lot. Didophobia is such a weird story. Because, on one hand, Ballora is there. She is present in the bunker when Rory explores it. But Baby, Funtime Freddy, they're missing. Funtime Foxy is just an empty shell in the corner. So, that seems like it should be suggesting it's after Sister Location. But Ballora being there? There's also details in the environment that aren't there in Sister Location. Funtime Auditorium has carpet, it has tables, it has deflated balloons, which we do not see in game, implying that this, and they're all covered in dust, implying it's before sister location. But again, in the private room cameras, we don't see Rory in the bedroom when he should be there, if it's before sister location. I mean, after sister location. So, I don't know. I'm going to put these both into 50-50 because I just don't know. I don't know. I think I put pre-sister location above it. No, I put post... Yeah, I put pre-sister location above it. But I really don't know. It's complicated. It's very complicated. Also, I think I'm going to stop a little sooner. I'm going to stop, like, there. Because I am really losing my voice. Dog mound. This is the theory that Susie's dog is buried in the mound. It requires MCI 83, though, which, you know how I feel about that. So, debunked. Dream theory. This one is mega debunked. Mega debunked. Yeah. Diddyphobia. Dual protagonist theory. That's an interesting one. I'm assuming... Actually, I don't know. What is dual protagonist theory? Dual protagonist theory is the theory that the player takes the role of Michael Afton during the night segments and Cassidy during the mini-games. I don't know. It might be true for Fnaf World. Maybe Fnaf 4, too. Maybe 3. I don't know. You should stop by Eleanor Shadows. Sure. I don't know. It is basically arcade theory. You're right. But arcade theory doesn't require Charlie Cassidy to be the one playing them. Where even did I put arcade theory? I lost it. Oh, there it is. Also, we can move this up to confirmed now because the staff bot's in security breach. I don't know. I'm gonna put this one in very unlikely. It's a cool idea to have Michael and Cassidy working with each other, but I don't really think there's too much evidence. Dwayne Dude. This is the theory that Dwayne, from what we found, is Phone Dude. There's not really that much evidence for it or against it, so bottom of 50-50. I actually see a lot of people believe that on Twitter, so. Alright, Duo Dreamer. This is the theory that the FNAF 4 nightmares are being experienced by Michael, but are based off the real events that happened, not real events, the nightmares had by Crying Child. So Crying Child had the FNAF 4 nightmares. He then later gives those nightmares to Michael. I don't know. Where did I put BV Nightmares? I'll probably just put it next to that. BV Dreamer. I don't know how true it is. Obviously, Bite Victim is involved in the nightmares somehow. I just don't think we know how, still. Which is crazy. Edwin Corpse. This is the theory that Edwin's corpse is used as the corpse in Burn Trap. It requires the storyteller to be games canon, which is debatable. I don't think it's true. I do think Edwin survived the events of Secret of the Mimic. I think he lives past that into the Pizzaplex era, because I think he wrote the wall code. But I don't think he's Burn Trap's body. I do think Burn Trap's body was intended by Steelwool to be William. Yeah, and it looks like you guys agree. So, definitely not as silly as these theories. But not that Sigma either. Edwin Moon. This is the theory that Edwin Murray died and possessed the Sleepy Moon costume. I really don't believe this one because I don't think he died that early in the timeline. Edwin OMC. This is the one I was glazing. I think if I had to pick an Old Man Consequences theory that required him to be a pre-existing character, it would be this one. That doesn't mean I think it's likely. Like, I don't think it's 50-50. I will put it towards the top, though. I'll put it towards the top. Like, I gotta think about this one. This one's just, I don't know why it's got me so confused. No, I don't know. Yeah, if I had to pick a theory, I would believe this. But, yeah. Yeah, Eleanor Games is the theory that Eleanor is in the games. Let me check, though. Eleanor Games. Okay, it's just saying that she exists in the games. I do think that, because she's in Into the Pit, which is a game, which is canon to the rest of the games, and I don't want to hear it. So I'm just going to say close to confirmed. There is a theory about, like, Into the Pit being canon to the games, right? There's the year. I guess not. Okay. And then the final theory for today's stream, because I'm losing my voice, and we've been going for a little bit. Eleanor Shadows. This is the theory that every Shadow animatronic in the series, so Shadow Freddy, Shadow Bonnie, Nightmare Yon, Nightmare, they are all Eleanor. I don't like that theory. I think it is... I think it's just... What's it called? It's shoehorning her into characters she doesn't need to be, right? Eleanor works fine as her own character. I don't think she needs to be these guys. If anyone, I would say she's maybe Nightmare Yon, or Nightmare. I don't think she's that important to these guys. I do think she's an agony being, like all of them, but I don't think they're the same. So I'm going to put this one in very unlikely. Probably like below Andrew OMC, or maybe like there, below BV receiver. Alright, and that's all for today. We did a lot. We did a lot. As you can see, a lot of these theories, and obviously, you know, we'll have more in S tier and A tier as we go on. We're not going to have too much in the confirmed tier, or close to confirmed. Obviously, we're going to have a lot in the 50-50 and very unlikelies, because FNAF is a theorizing franchise. But yeah, we still have a lot of work to do. Oh, this is probably going to take us 4 streams minimum. If I had to guess, we'll probably get finished around, like, I don't know, there, next stream. Maybe 5 streams. Yeah. Good work today, though, guys. Appreciate you all for showing up. This is what we have so far. Hopefully it saves my progress if I close out of this window. Yeah. Good work today, though. We don't need to show the top. Yes, I do intend to finish this. 100%. I don't know how long it will take. I don't know when we'll finish it, but we will finish it, believe me. Yeah. And then after that, I don't know. But yeah. Good job, guys. We hit 6 a.m. We did it. We are FNAF. My voice is hurting. Yeah, so the next tier list stream, we'll be working on that. We'll make some more progress on it. If you guys have any last thoughts, say them now or whatever. And then I'll let you guys go. We are FNAF. Yeah! appreciate you guys for coming out today. I know I started like 30 minutes early just because I thought we'd be going for longer, but we're not. We're definitely not. Okay. Well, if you guys don't have anything, I don't have anything. Hopefully, I'll see you guys later this week. I wanted to stream yesterday, but I couldn't. So, today we... I don't know what I'm saying. I'm tired. I have not played Deltarune. I'm going to be honest. I'm not really a fan of Undertale. I respect it, but I just never got into it. I don't really have any intention of doing so. But yeah, I will rest my voice hard. It's a great idea. Yeah, thank you guys for showing up. And I'll see you in the next stream, which will hopefully be either tomorrow or Thursday. Fingers crossed. No promises, though. I know I said I would stream again last week, and I didn't. I'm sorry. But yeah, that's about it from me. Yeah. Alright. Bye, guys. Thank you for showing up. Bye.